Starlink has tweaked some plans again. Are these good changes? Are you going to like them? Come and join us as we dive into the details and find out more. Hi, I'm Dan from the Mobile Internet Resource Center. So usually when you hear Starlink has made plan changes, most people think it's going to be negative changes. But this time we actually have some good news. There's a few changes that Starlink has made, and they should be good changes if you can take advantage of them. The topics we'll be covering is the new Residential Lite service plan, the ability to activate a standard dish on the Roam 50 gigabyte plan, and regional savings going up to $200 discount on hardware in select areas. So we'll go ahead and get into those details. The first change we're going to talk about is a new service for residential customers called Residential Lite. Now, Residential Lite is not a new service plan. It's actually been around for a while, but it was only offered in select countries around the world, and the US was not one of them. Well, Starlink has now brought Residential Lite to the US in certain locations. Right now, it's pretty limited in only about 15 states, minus some of the metropolitan areas in those states. But if you are in an area that qualifies, this opens up the opportunity to have residential service at a cheaper price. Starlink refers to Residential Lite as a more affordable service offering unlimited deprioritized data with no long-term contracts. So this ends up being similar to the Roam service. It's deprioritized just like Roam. It's unlimited data. The main difference is this is a fixed location use plan versus being able to use anywhere. Now, as nomads, if you don't move around as much or you stay in a location for a longer period of time, you could take advantage of Residential Lite and perhaps cut your service in half from Roam Unlimited. Residential Lite is being offered for $80 a month, so this is $40 less than the current residential service and less than half of the current Roam Unlimited. Now, as mentioned, it is deprioritized service, so you are the lowest priority. So you could see slower network speeds during times of congestion, but this plan is not throttled. It's just network managed, just meaning your data is slower behind other users. So if you are in an area that you could take advantage of Residential Lite, perhaps this would be a good opportunity for you to have cheaper service. The next change we're going to talk about is the Roam 50 gigabyte plan available on the Starlink standard from activation. Now, this has been an interesting back and forth on Starlink's part. The Roam 50 gigabyte plan first debuted when the Starlink Mini came out, and this was the plan available to the Mini, and it was the cheapest plan to date, offering service for $50 a month for 50 gigabytes of deprioritized data. Along the way, Starlink opened this plan to other hardware, including the Starlink Standard, and you could purchase Starlink Standard and the 50 gigabyte plan at the same time. Then they have flip-flopped a few times, making you actually purchase the Starlink Standard on a more expensive plan, such as Roam Unlimited. And you could only change the Roam 50 gigabyte plan once you had service for a month, and then you could change plans. Well, once again, they have changed the options, and now they have opened it back up again to purchase the Starlink Standard hardware and activate the Roam 50 gigabyte plan at the same time on that hardware. So this could be a great choice if you're looking for Starlink to be a backup internet source to your home internet or to other cellular options that you may have. It also can be, if you've got a remote property location you want to keep security cameras on for, $50 a month to keep Starlink working in a location like that can be a very affordable plan, just to have some security options available. So if you want the Roam 50 gigabyte plan, you can look in your options to change plans, and since this is the cheapest plan, it will not change until your next billing period, but once you're on this plan, you can stay on it for as long as you want. Extra data is $1 a gigabyte, and at any time, if you want to move to a more expensive plan, such as Roam Unlimited, you can upgrade during the middle of your billing cycle, and you will just pay a prorated difference on that plan. So it makes it very flexible to jump on the Roam 50 gigabyte plan, and then decide halfway through the month that, you're using a lot more data, you should probably just go to the unlimited, or if you think you're going to be under that 165 gigabyte limit, that kind of translates out to $1 a gigabyte, you still will come out cheaper on the Roam 50 gigabyte. And now it can be enjoyed on all hardware from the beginning, including the standard dish and the Starlink Mini.
This content is made possible by our premium members over at the Mobile Internet Resource Center. We strive to create unbiased content for our audience. We are not sponsored, we're not driven by affiliate sales, and we don't sell stuff. We are here to provide unbiased content, and for that we are funded by our members, and our members get a lot of additional perks for their support. So please, if mobile internet is an important part of your lifestyle, consider supporting us.
The final change we're going to talk about today is that Starlink has increased the regional savings discount to $200 in the US. Now, this is a hardware discount available to residential users when purchasing Starlink and activating service in an area that qualifies. And since the Starlink standard is $349 right now, that actually brings the price of the hardware down to $149 in these areas if you qualify. That's one of the cheapest prices we've seen on the hardware so far. It also makes it a very cheap price to pick up some backup hardware if you need to. Now, we've seen Starlink start being more aggressive in discounting the hardware over the past year, and they've done this through the regional savings that's varied between $100 or $200 at times, or they've actually just had sales on the hardware and it didn't matter what type of plan you were subscribing to. Now, in this case, regional savings is tied to residential customers. And so there are limitations on how long you have to keep the service before you can change and not have a penalty and have to pay that savings back. We have an accompanying article to this video that goes into more details about this. And for our members, we've got some tips on how you may be able to take advantage of this regional savings if your plans would work out to that favor. And we just go into details about that. But for most nomads, the regional savings just doesn't really apply to you because you have to be in a certain area and you have to remain for a certain time to take advantage of that. But if you can, the $200 discount on the Starlink standard hardware is pretty significant discount. Starlink has always been a no-contract service, and that has been great if you want the ultimate flexibility on when to start and stop your service, what kind of plan you want to choose, want to be able to change plans. But that also means Starlink is totally up to changing terms of their plans, changing the pricing of the hardware in their plans whenever they want to, and they very rarely ever grandfather people into those changes. Most times we're bringing you negative news about Starlink changes that may affect you in a negative way. This time it seems the changes are more positive, although there are limits on who can take advantage of these changes or cheaper pricing options. Of course, the standard with the Roam 50 gigabyte coming back upon activation, that's a pretty nice change that anyone can take advantage of that's looking to start a new Starlink service and not be tied to an expensive plan right from the beginning. The other changes may be a little harder for nomads to take advantage of, but if you are in a location that you're going to stay in a little longer period of time or you're qualified for the residential light service, it's possible you could take advantage of these higher discounts. Thanks for watching.
These videos are brought to you by our premium members, our mobile internet aficionados. They make it possible for us to track this news and create these videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, or better yet, consider becoming a member yourself.